Have you ever felt that butterflies in your stomach feeling when something good finally happens in your life, but you're afraid to tell your family? I know how that feels. You find the desire to smile again, your heart warms in the presence of someone special, and all you want is to be able to share this happiness with your children, your grandchildren. But instead of support, you often encounter resistance, sidelong glances, snide comments, or that heavy silence that hurts more than any words. It's painful. It shouldn't be this way, but unfortunately, many people experience it. And it's not just you. That's why I'm here to talk to you, to remind you that you're not alone in this, and that you do have the right to be happy again. We'll talk calmly about how to deal with jealousy from children or grandchildren when we decide to pursue a new love after a certain age. And I want you to see this conversation as a hug, like that comfort we seek when life seems too hard. Because I know it's not easy, but I also know it's possible. And you know what? Age doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, 80, or older. Our hearts don't understand calendars, birth dates, or social conventions. Our hearts miss companionship, affection, someone to share the small joys and even the pains of everyday life. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Nothing. If someone made you believe that after a certain age, love is nonsense, shameful, or a lack of things to do, forget it. This is one of the biggest lies we've been told throughout our lives. I know this is hard for many families to understand. It's hard to accept that mother, father, grandfather, or grandmother, that respectable person who always took care of everyone, now wants to be cared for too, wants to be loved, wants to have a hand to hold when night falls, wants to have someone to smile with in the morning. For some children, this almost feels like a threat, as if someone is taking their place in their hearts. That's where jealousy arises. Often it doesn't stem from malice, but from fear. Fear of getting hurt, of someone taking advantage of you, fear of losing attention, of losing the space they've always had. They don't realize that love isn't divided, it multiplies. It's like when we have a child and then another. The love you feel for the first doesn't diminish when the second is born. Quite the opposite. Your heart only grows to accommodate one more. It's the same now. And I want to start by asking you one thing. Don't get caught up in the resentment game. I know it's hard. I know it hurts to hear nasty comments, to be treated coldly, to see a child drift away, or a grandchild sulk because you're dating. But don't respond in kind. Don't return silence with silence. Don't return rudeness with rudeness. Because that only deepens the distance, and I know you don't want that. Take a deep breath. Count to 10, even 20 if necessary. Look at the situation with empathy. Try to remember that they're acting this way because they love you, but they don't yet know how to deal with this new development. This doesn't mean you have to accept everything silently or give up your happiness. It just means you can choose the path of patience and tenderness to begin this conversation. I remember a friend of mine, Donna Laura. She told me she was widowed early and raised 3 children practically alone. Years later, almost 70, she met a man on a trip. A kind, attentive man who made her feel alive again. And how beautiful, she told me she would wake up smiling just knowing she'd get a phone call from him at the end of the day. That she felt butterflies in her stomach when she met him at the bakery for coffee. One day, she decided to tell her children. She bought a cake, planned a luncheon at home, and set a beautiful table. But when she told them she was dating, a heavy silence fell. Her middle son left the table without saying a word. Her oldest daughter told her she should have some respect because it wasn't time to date. She cried in her room that night, but Mrs. Laura didn't give up. She continued sending loving messages to her children, inviting them to Sunday lunches and her grandchildren's birthdays. She continued to show that she was still the same loving mother, but now a little happier. Little by little, her children's hearts softened. The oldest daughter even apologized one day. She said she was only afraid her mother would be disappointed. Today, everyone gets along well, and her grandchildren even call her boyfriend Grandpa. And I've found someone who makes me feel good, that doesn't change how I feel about you. Sometimes they just need to hear that. Now, there's an important detail. Don't confuse empathy with submission. You don't need to ask permission to live your life. You've already dedicated so much time to others, cared for so many people, given up so much. Now it's time to take care of yourself too. You can ask for respect. You can ask for understanding, but you don't need to ask permission to love again. And don't hide your happiness. Some people think they need to shrink to avoid causing discomfort, but the more you hide, the more others feel the right to judge you. When you start smiling more, dressing with more taste, walking with a straight posture, they realize this new love is doing you good. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. Little by little, others feel the warmth of that light too. And remember one thing, love after 60 has a different flavor. It's more serene, more mature, more conscious, but it's no less important for that. Don't throw away this opportunity to feel again. You deserve it. And one more thing I need to remind you, give it time. Everyone has their own pace of accepting change. A child may take months to get used to the idea. A grandchild may throw a tantrum at first. Don't pressure, but don't give up either. Plant the seeds little by little. What matters is that you know in your heart that you're on the right path. And I know we still have a lot to talk about. Dealing with family jealousy isn't simple or quick, but I promise that together we'll find ways to transform this phase into a new love story for you, your children, and your grandchildren too. So stay with me, because our conversation is just beginning. The other day I heard a friend say something that made me think. I feel guilty for being happy. And look, it breaks your heart. It's sad to think that for many people in our generation, joy needs to be hidden, as if it were something ugly, forbidden, selfish. But let me tell you, with all due love, you have no reason to be ashamed of being happy. There's nothing wrong with taking care of your own heart. In fact, what's really wrong is sacrificing yourself to please others. I know that many people who have lived a long time end up believing they're too old for it. But that's just a poorly told story we've heard our whole lives. Love has no age, no expiration date, and most importantly, it doesn't have to fit anyone's expectations. Not your neighbors, not society's, not even your own family's. Of course, we don't want to constantly fight with the person we love. That's why it's important to find a way to balance things, to show that this new love isn't here to steal anything from anyone, but to add to it. Sometimes it's just a matter of skill, and skill is something we learn little by little. A first step I always suggest is to introduce your new partner slowly. You don't have to show up hand in hand at your grandchild's birthday party unannounced. You don't have to force intimacy right away. Take it slow. A Sunday lunch, a family walk in the park, an afternoon coffee. Show them that they're a good, polite, and kind person. This really helps break that initial ice. And at the same time, don't neglect the bonds that already exist. Don't let them feel like they've been replaced. Keep inviting your children to lunch alone. Take your grandchildren to the movies, to an ice cream shop. Call to ask how they are. Send that loving good morning message. Simple things like that help show that nothing has changed, that you're still the same person who's always been there for them. And I guarantee that for most, jealousy is just fear of losing you, of losing your place. They haven't yet realized that the heart has no limit. There's always room for more love. But it's up to you to show them this, not with words, but with actions. And here's a detail many people forget: talking to the new person as well. It's important for them to understand that at first it may be difficult. There may be natural resistance. Explain that patience and sensitivity are necessary,
They can't arrive wanting to offer advice, correct the grandchildren, or intrude on family conversations. This only makes matters worse. The new partner needs to understand that they're entering a story that already existed before them, full of important chapters. Another thing I see happen a lot is the new partner getting hurt because they feel the children's coldness. Sometimes this ends in a fight between the two of you. And I tell you, don't let that happen. Calmly explain that it's a process, that it will take time, that there's no point in forcing it, and that no matter how difficult it may be, you won't choose between one or the other. You'll keep trying to keep everyone close. And sometimes you'll need to be firm with your children or grandchildren too. Setting limits is part of it.
If they overreact, if they're disrespectful, if they hurt you with harsh words, speak up. But speak calmly, without shouting. Tell them you understand their discomfort, their fear, but that you won't give up what makes you feel good. That you won't give up on being happy. Because deep down, we teach others how to treat us by how we treat ourselves. If you hide your joy, if you apologize for being happy, if you apologize for loving, they'll think they're right to judge you. But if you show that you're okay, that you're not hurting anyone, that you're confident in your choice, they'll eventually understand. And look how beautiful it is. I've seen stories of grandchildren who, at first, hated the idea of their grandmother having a boyfriend and then became friends with their grandfather at heart. I've seen children who complained of jealousy at first and then confessed they were happy to see their mother smiling again. But that only happens if you have the patience to plant the right seeds. Because sometimes it really does take time. Sometimes it's like caring for a plant. You water it today, tomorrow, the day after, and only months later do you see the flower bloom. So don't despair if it's not easy at first. Don't let yourself be shaken by the dirty looks or the harsh words. Take it slow. Gradually show that love has only done you good. I know this all seems easier said than done, but trust me, little by little, everything falls into place. You just need to remember that you're not doing anything wrong, that you're not betraying anyone by choosing to live, that you're not being selfish by taking care of your heart. And our conversation isn't over yet, because there are more important things I want to tell you about how to transform this difficult phase into one of the most beautiful in your life. So stay with me. In the end, what matters most is that you don't give up on yourself, because no one will live your life for you. No one will fill the void in your chest for you. Only you can take care of your heart. And let me tell you something else. Deep down, no matter how much they frown at first, your children and grandchildren don't want to see you alone, sad, or lost. They're just afraid of the new, afraid of someone taking advantage of you, afraid of losing a little of their place in your life. But you don't need to be afraid along with them. Love at this stage is a gift that life gives you again. And those who have the courage to accept this gift deserve respect, deserve applause. You've faced so much. You've cared for so many people. Now it's time to take care of yourself too. And be proud of that. Not everyone can open their heart again after so many wounds, after so many losses. Not everyone has the courage to look at their own loneliness and say, I don't want this for myself anymore. That's so beautiful. It's a sign that you're still alive inside. So keep going, one day at a time. Show with your actions that love doesn't take up space. It only expands it. Your heart isn't trading anyone for anyone else. It's just gaining more love to give and receive. And I know the day will come when your children and grandchildren will realize this. They'll realize you're still the same person, only happier. And they'll be proud of you for having the courage to start over. Now, I'd like to ask you something. Tell me in the comments how your experience is going. I read everything with care, and I love it when you share your stories. Because every story like yours can help someone else who's
also going through the same thing. And if you know someone facing this dilemma, send this video to them. Sometimes it's just that kind word that helps someone take the first step. Remember, life after 60 can still be full of energy, choices, and joy. Age doesn't matter. What matters is what you do with your time from now on. Thank you for letting me be with you at this moment. Take good care of your heart. It still has many beautiful stories to tell. And never forget, you deserve to be happy.